Hello viewers, it's Super GT here. So the first week of the Forza Racing Championship is coming to a close. Let's go through a couple more races from the Open Championship. So we are around Lime Rock, starting relatively far forward in the pack, just trying to maintain position, just trying to make sure we don't get involved in an accident. But we do, we're going to go flying off here. Guy just went a little bit deep on the brakes, and this is where we're going to try to rejoin slowly, just get in behind. That is how you do a rejoin, ladies and gentlemen. Got a couple of guys coming on the track. That's going to create a couple more victims, and then we're going to go into the chicane with the new tyre walls, and there we go, claiming a couple of victims, and we go through about 6 positions. Now it does actually bring up the argument, do these tyre walls actually solve more issues than what they create? Because in many ways people get stuck on the inside and then it just creates a massive pile up, and in many ways it makes it worse. So of course you don't have corner cutting anymore there, but it is it very much does create a lot more issues. So please let me know your thoughts on those tyre walls actually. I personally think that they should just have, I know it's controversial, but the sticky grass, people hate it, but I think if you do go off, at least you're not causing a pile up and you only make it worse for yourself. But anyway, we are back into 9th position, so we have a net loss of a couple of positions still, but we are a couple of seconds behind here. But we can see up ahead they are actually very close to each other. Actually, look at that. One guy's into the wall, lucky he goes out, so I can get through. And just coming up the hill, now into 8th position. So going forward into lap number 3. We're about halfway through the race, almost having a big moment there. And this guy's just going to rejoin and come across the entire circuit. And you know, I was expecting him to stay on the other side, but then again, that is wishful thinking. This is Forza 6. You're never quite going to get perfect driving. Now very quickly, many of you will have watched my previous video, so the discussion about the track limits in Forza 6. You're probably very surprised to hear that I was actually advocating going over the corner, cutting the corner at Monza. But I think in an elite competition you have to push the rules to the absolute limit, especially when there's massive prizes on offer. People are going to get the rules and take them to the absolute limit of what is possible. But I do think separately from that, so in online lobbies such as this, I just don't think you should take it to that kind of level. An example I'll give is, let's say a football match. If you're playing a professional football match, so the Premier League, Champions League, in the World Cup, of course you're going to try as hard as you can within the rules to just play and do the best for your team. Take the rules to the limit where possible, because it is an elite competition. But then in let's say a kick around with your mates down the park, you're not going to be pushing the rules to the absolute limit. You're not going to be diving, pretending you're injured, that kind of thing. So that's the kind of thing I'm trying to get at here. In an online lobby, there's no need to really push the rules to the limit. So I would say that is a separate situation entirely. But that is my overall thoughts. We're probably just going to leave it there for now and move on to the racing for next week. Hopefully it will be better. So we're going on to lap 5 now. We're in 6th position, and I don't want to finish in 6th position. So coming down the hill into the final turn, this guy's going to go very wide, and that's going to give me a shot here at 5th. Is he going to turn across? No, he's not. Thankfully, he's not a totally moronic driver. Just letting me actually go past on the line. Most people hate getting overtaken before the line and they'll turn into you, do anything to make sure you don't get past, but he was okay. So then this takes us to Prague. Now, oh my god, this race, well, I can barely call it a race. It wasn't even a race for me. So coming into the first turn, this first turn is really quite a tricky one, because you go very wide and then it has a late apex. So I'm just going to get forced narrow. So that guy obviously just did not know that I was on his inside at all. You could say that I could have backed out, but then again, I was absolutely well within my rights to go there. And I'm just going to get pushed into the guy in front, So I could spot that the guy ahead was having an accident, and I'm just going to get pushed around here. There's just nothing I can do. And I've gone right to the back of the pack. Got terrible damage. And that's going to be the end of that race. There's really nothing on I can do. Not much more I can do in that race. Now this race here, I'll probably make the biggest mistake of my Forza career. We go into Mechburg. We wipe out Turn 10 employee. And I'm going to have to admit here, guys, that I've been permanently banned from Forza 6. So this is going to be the last video I make. I'd just like to thank all of you for watching. It's been a really, really great experience for me. And, you know, sorry that it had to end this way. But in all seriousness, we carried on around Road America. We're going to get a good run here actually, manual with clutch, and if you shift at the right times you really can get a good launch. So going past a couple of guys here. Now that guy behind me who I just passed, not in the red car but the one in the black car, is just going to forget to brake and just go flying into the back of me. Luckily I didn't go off too badly, but the other guy just he got totally obliterated. And then the guy hits me, just quits, so thank you very much for that contribution to the race. Entirely negative. A bit of argy-bargy through turn 2. The guy coming back on gets knocked back off. And then I'm still in 18th, so I'm right down the back of the pack. Now, going down the long straight. This is the very speedy version of Road America, where we go in pretty much, there's 4 corners pretty much, and then 2 long straights. So, trying to judge your braking zone for this turn, quite difficult to do, especially with this car. It's got very bad brakes, and I'm on the inside line here, just holding it a nice inside line. A couple of guys off, or more than a couple, half the pack is off, and coming through the final turn, get a good run through here, and this is where it's going to get very interesting. A lot of cars side by side, and we all know that people can't drive in a straight line on this game. So coming over at the top of the hill, crossing to start lap 2, oh my god, it's kicking off. These guys just can't drive in a straight line, and I just tried to go for the gap there. It just did not work at all, and I'm just going to go for a nice rejoin here, so I can see those guys coming on the track. So I'm just going to let them go and then rejoin. You might as well do that, just let the people go, then rejoin after. I know if someone smashed you off and you feel really aggrieved by it, don't make the situation worse by just rejoining in an idiotic fashion, which most people do, but just don't do that. Don't make it a worse situation than it has to be. So just try to get back a couple of positions here. You're always going to gain more positions when racing is very close, so I'm not too worried that there's a gap from 12th to 11th. That will close up very quickly when they go into this turn. They're going to be fighting with each other, and we're going to gain our time back. So coming into the second to last turn, I've got the inside line, and I'm just going to get tapped. Maybe I did not give that guy enough space to rejoin. I'm going to give myself 50% of the blame for that. That was easily avoidable, and you know, just got to learn from your mistakes, I guess. So next time I will try to give him more space as he tries to rejoin. But from here, I'm just going to slow down, let this guy go from behind. He probably thinks I'm trying to ram him, but I'm not. And then we're going to try and set a quick clean lap, because this is how the grids get decided. And then in the end I actually come back past a couple of people who involved in an accident with each other. So you're just trying to get a fast clean lap. Clean lap is the most important thing, because anyone with a clean lap will start ahead of someone with a dirty lap from the previous race. So I got a fairly good lap in that race, clean and fast. So I'm going to be up the front of the grid, as you can see here, starting second. So that is something very much worth doing. If you're finding yourself hemmed in at the back of the pack, race after race after race, it's worth just backing out entirely, getting yourself a clean, quick lap, and this will give you a better grid slot for the next race. As you can see here, and it happens in real motorsport too, the front of the pack will always stretch out a lot more. The midfield are always going to be fighting the most, and that is where they're going to be losing a lot of time on lap 1. So here, myself and JSR Redline can pretty much start taking the racing line straight away. So we're going to be taking the optimum line, whereas everyone else isn't. And then in the end, just settling for second, JSR Redline, very quick driver, so wasn't able to get back past him. Then he goes for a nice little rollover here as he crosses the line, as he flips his Ford Mustang over. Then we go to Sebring. This is going to be the final clip of this video, and probably the most chaotic. Well, I don't know actually, the one in Prague was probably more chaotic than this, but this was pretty bad as well. So go into the first turn, go for the inside, and then go out just before we turn in to get a better line through. And I'm just going to try to put myself up the outside here. I've got someone on the inside there, so I'm wary of that. It's very close. I'm expecting carnage into this turn, and there it is. We see the push, and I'm just going to get tangled up with the Polish guy, and then trying to get back on the track. I can see people trying to go past me there, so I'm just going to slowly rejoin a bit later. Down into 6th position, of course, where I always seem to find myself. And then as we come into the long right, into the hairpin, we've got 2x2 here. This is going to be very interesting into the hairpin. Just going to try to brake early. I've got a bit of a gap there, and I'm going to move to the right hand side to make sure I don't go into the back of that guy. And luckily my braking point was dead on there, on the apex. And that guy's just going to try zero limit there, just try to cut across the curb and then go for a weird overtake on the grass. Not going to work like that, I'm afraid. And LSR Wizard there, just losing out because I had to go into him, or I was forced into him. Then into the next turn, we've got a Hungarian guy ahead of us, and I'm just going to get pushed again. It's this zero limit guy. He was actually really high up on the leaderboards, but by evidence of this race, he was one of the dirtiest drivers in the lobby. LSR Wizard, a very, very, very fast driver. He is actually very high up in the Elite Championship. I think he's in for. I think he's got very far in that tournament. I will be watching that those highlights. But then over the line we go, finishing second in the end. That's my phone just gone off, don't worry about that. Finishing second in the end, and that is going to bring a close to this week's racing. Obviously I'll be back with more for next week, but I hope you have enjoyed it, guys. Let me know your thoughts as always on this video and on the league itself. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this one, guys. Subscribe for more like this, hit the like button, and hope to see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, goodbye.